Ethan stared at the blinking console in the quiet control room of the remote research station. The stars stretched endlessly outside the reinforced windows, twinkling like distant fires. He had spent months here, far from Earth, testing a new communication device designed to reach home across light years. Tonight was supposed to be simple. Send the signal, get a reply, and go to bed. But nothing in his work was ever simple. Ethan adjusted the frequency, checking the calculations on his pad. "Okay, this should do it," he muttered. His finger hovered over the activation button. Deep down, he felt the tingle of anticipation. This was a big moment. If it worked, he would be the first to send a clear, intentional message across interstellar space. He pressed the button. The machine hummed, lights flickered, and a pulse of energy shot into the void. A small green light blinked, signaling the transmission was complete. Ethan smiled. "Home. Here I come," he said to himself. Then, the console started beeping furiously. Red warning lights flashed. "What? No. That's impossible," he muttered, checking the coordinates. His stomach sank. The signal hadn't gone to Earth at all. It had been directed to an unknown system, one that did not appear in any of his charts. He had sent the signal to the wrong planet. Ethan felt a wave of panic. "Well, that's bad," he whispered, trying to steady his shaking hands. He stared at the blinking screen, wondering what kind of beings might be at the other end. Could they be hostile, friendly, curious, or worse, predatory? The answer arrived faster than he expected. A deep, low hum vibrated through the ground beneath the station. Ethan ran to the observation deck and saw it. A ship, sleek, metallic, elegant, nothing like the clunky human designs he had worked with. Its surface shimmered like liquid metal, reflecting the starlight. It hovered silently, almost as if it were alive. Ethan's heart pounded. It saw the signal. Then, a beam of light shot from the ship, enveloping the station. The ground beneath him trembled, and before he could react, the world went white. When he opened his eyes, he was lying on a smooth, glowing floor. The air smelled different. Clean, sharp, almost metallic. He sat up quickly, only to find himself surrounded by beings unlike any he had ever imagined. They were humanoid, yes, but taller than him, elegant, and covered in skin that shimmered faintly under the lights. Their hair floated as if underwater, and their eyes were large, intelligent, and calculating. All of them were women. Ethan felt a surge of awe mixed with fear. One of them stepped forward. She wore a silver uniform with intricate designs. Her presence was commanding. Her eyes locked onto his. "You are the human who sent the signal," she said in a voice that was clear, melodic, and oddly soothing. Ethan swallowed. I didn't mean to. It was a mistake," he stammered. The woman raised an eyebrow. "A mistake that brought you to us." She paused, studying him. "You are curious, bold, reckless, interesting." Her words made Ethan uneasy. He wanted to retreat, to explain, to get back to the station. But the ship was vast, the lights bright, and the air, he couldn't find a way to resist. Somehow, he was already moving forward, drawn by a mix of fear and fascination. She gestured, and several other women stepped closer. They examined him silently, their expressions unreadable. Ethan felt exposed, like a specimen in a laboratory. But there was also respect, something he couldn't name. "Come," the lead woman said. "You will remain on our ship until we understand you." Ethan nodded, unable to speak. His mind raced. "Stay calm. Don't make them think you're dangerous. Just observe." The ship itself was unlike anything Ethan had ever seen. The walls pulsed with soft light, as if alive. Hallways curved, impossibly, twisting in ways that defied logic. Panels glowed with symbols he couldn't understand, and machines hummed with quiet power. He felt dizzy, but awed. A young alien with bright blue eyes approached him, offering a small device. It scanned him, and he could feel it touching his mind without speaking. Images, data, sensations, brief flashes flowed into his consciousness. He realized that the aliens could communicate and learn without words. The lead woman, whom he now knew as Commander Lyra, observed his reactions carefully. "You are resilient," she said. "Your mind is primitive compared to ours, yet adaptable. That is rare." Ethan's cheeks flushed. I can learn," he said cautiously. Lyra's expression softened slightly, though her eyes remained sharp. "We will see. For now, you are our guest. Or perhaps, our student." The thought of being a student on an alien ship was terrifying. Ethan couldn't help but marvel at the opportunity. These beings had technology and knowledge far beyond human understanding. The temptation to explore, to learn, was overwhelming. Hours passed. Ethan was guided through different sections of the ship. He saw vast chambers where alien crews trained their minds, their bodies, and even their emotions. Machines that could manipulate gravity, energy, and even the flow of time were scattered throughout. And everywhere he went, the alien women observed him, sometimes silently, sometimes with subtle questions. He noticed one thing that surprised him. They were intrigued by him, not hostile. They watched as he attempted to adapt to their ways, noted his mistakes, and occasionally nodded in approval. Somehow, his human intuition, his unpredictability, made them curious. During a meal, a strange, luminescent substance, he hesitated to eat it first. Lyra spoke again. "Your kind is chaotic, creative, reckless. But you survive. That is a strength we lack." Ethan swallowed hard. "I guess humans can be good at improvising." Lyra's lips curved slightly into what could almost be considered a smile. "Perhaps that is why we will study you. Perhaps one day your kind may surprise us even further." Ethan felt a strange mixture of pride and fear. He was alone on a ship of powerful alien women, far from Earth, unable to control his situation. Yet somehow, he also felt the first spark of hope. Maybe, just maybe, humanity had something to offer, even to beings this advanced. As he lay down in the strange sleeping chamber they provided, Ethan stared at the ceiling, which seemed to ripple like water. He thought of Earth, his colleagues, and his life back home. And yet, he also thought of the aliens, their strange ship, and the possibilities that lay ahead. One thing was certain: his life would never be the same. Outside, the stars continued to shine, indifferent to the small human on a vast alien ship. But inside, something extraordinary was beginning a journey of discovery, courage, and the unpredictable power of the human mind. And so, the human man who sent a signal to the wrong planet found himself aboard an alien women's ship, alone, afraid, and, strangely, ready to learn. The next morning, Ethan woke to a soft, warm light. The sleeping chamber had no walls in the usual sense. The surfaces curved gently, glowing faintly. A panel near the floor slid open silently, and an alien woman appeared. She was shorter than Commander Lyra, with silvery hair that shimmered like moonlight and eyes like liquid sapphires. "Good morning, human," she said in a melodic voice. "I am Telia. Follow me. It is time for you to learn our ways." Ethan rose quickly, rubbing his eyes. "Learn your ways?" he asked. Telia nodded. "Yes. Our minds and bodies function differently from yours. You will adapt. You will survive." He followed her into the curving corridors. The ship was enormous, larger than any human station he had ever seen. The walls seemed alive, breathing softly, with light flowing beneath the surface, as if the structure itself were conscious. Machines hummed quietly in the background, invisible yet clearly present, performing tasks he couldn't begin to understand. As they walked, Ethan noticed other aliens moving gracefully through the corridors. Some practiced combat techniques, their movements precise and flowing like water. Others manipulated floating devices that displayed streams of energy, shaping them into intricate patterns. He could see intelligence in every motion, every glance. "You watch, you learn," Telja said. "Your kind is slow, but curiosity is valuable. Observe and try to understand." Ethan nodded, though he felt overwhelmed. Every step, every sight challenged everything he thought he knew about physics, biology, and technology. Telja brought him to a large chamber filled with floating platforms. Holographic projections of stars, planets, and ships hovered in midair. "This is the navigation room," Telja explained. "We explore many systems. You will not command the ship, but you may watch. You may learn." Ethan stepped forward cautiously, touching a projection of a nearby planet. The light bent under his fingers, forming swirling colors and patterns. "It reacts?" he asked. Telja nodded. "Everything here responds to thought and touch. The ship is alive with energy. We guide it, and it guides us." Ethan felt a thrill of excitement mixed with fear. He had never imagined technology like this. On Earth, humans were limited, clumsy, slow. Here, intelligence and energy were intertwined, creating possibilities he couldn't yet comprehend. "Can I try something?" he asked hesitantly. Telja considered him for a moment. "Yes. But be cautious. We are not tolerant of recklessness." He reached for the projection of a small asteroid, thinking quickly about moving it closer to the ship. To his surprise, it obeyed, floating gently toward a holographic bay. He grinned, feeling a spark of pride. Telja's eyes shimmered with approval. "You adapt faster than expected," she said. "Your kind is unpredictable." "That is interesting." Over the next several hours, Ethan was introduced to the ship's routines. He learned that the crew communicated with subtle gestures, thoughts, and emotions. They shared knowledge instantly through devices that linked minds briefly, allowing rapid understanding. Humans were not capable of this, yet the aliens seemed fascinated by his slower, more deliberate thought processes. In the ship's living quarters, Ethan met several other crew members. Each was unique, with different abilities and talents. Some were scholars, studying the mysteries of the universe. Others were warriors, trained to protect the ship and its people. All of them, however, shared one trait: curiosity about him. "You are small," one said softly, her voice like wind over glass. "Yet your mind works in ways we cannot predict. You see possibilities where we see none." Ethan laughed nervously. "I guess humans are good at improvising. We don't always follow rules the way you do." The alien tilted her head, studying him. "Improvisation. Yes. That may be a strength. Perhaps we underestimated your kind." Ethan felt a warmth in his chest. For the first time since being taken from his station, he felt respected. Not just observed, but seen. Commander Lyra summoned him later to a smaller, more private chamber. She was standing by a window-like screen, showing distant stars. Ethan approached cautiously. "You are learning quickly," Lyra said. "But you must understand, human. This is not Earth. You cannot survive by instinct alone. You must adapt." "I'm trying," Ethan said honestly. "I don't want to get in trouble." Lyra's eyes softened slightly. "We do not punish curiosity, but you must also recognize danger. The universe is not forgiving. Even the strongest can fall." She stepped closer. Ethan noticed her presence was commanding, yet not threatening. There was intelligence and caution in every movement. "You are brave," she continued, "but your bravery is tied to ignorance. A human would die where we would calculate survival. That makes you fascinating." Ethan swallowed. I guess humans can surprise even the smartest beings." Lyra allowed a brief smile. "Yes. Perhaps your species has potential we have not yet seen. You may teach us as we teach you." In the following days, Ethan began to explore more freely. He accompanied small groups on short missions outside the ship, using protective suits. They navigated asteroid fields, analyzed strange energy readings, and even observed minor anomalies in space-time. Each time, Ethan's human intuition and quick thinking solved problems the aliens hadn't predicted. On one mission, a minor asteroid threatened to damage a secondary probe. The aliens had a precise calculation, but something was off. Ethan noticed the pattern of movement was irregular. Acting on instinct, he guided the probe to a safer trajectory, saving it. The aliens were astonished. "You see solutions where we see only rules," Talia said afterward. "Remarkable." Ethan felt a mix of pride and disbelief. He had never considered humans remarkable. Back on Earth, they were average at best. But here, in this alien environment, his creativity and adaptability shone. Despite his successes, Ethan also faced challenges. Communication was difficult. Alien thought patterns were rapid and precise, while his mind processed emotions, mistakes, and intuition. At times, he felt frustrated and inadequate. One evening, while reviewing data in a quiet chamber, Ethan muttered to himself, "How do I ever belong here? I'm just human." A soft light appeared beside him. It was a young alien scholar, her eyes filled with curiosity. "You may be human," she said gently, "but you are more than your kind. Your mind is flexible. You adapt. That is a gift." Ethan blinked, surprised. She nodded. "Yes, we have seen many species. Few can survive here without losing themselves. You endure. That is remarkable." Ethan smiled faintly. For the first time, he realized that being human was not a limitation. It could be a strength. Commander Lyra observed him quietly, noting his successes and struggles. She gathered the crew for a meeting and spoke of the human aboard their ship. "He is unpredictable," she said. "Yet his unpredictability has value. Observe him, learn from him, and guide him. Do not underestimate the human mind." The crew murmured among themselves. Some were skeptical, others curious, but all agreed. This small human had already begun to change their understanding of intelligence, creativity, and problem-solving. Ethan, unaware of the full discussion, felt a strange mix of fear and excitement. He was alone in space, far from home, yet slowly earning respect in a society far advanced beyond his own. One night, Ethan lay on the soft, glowing surface of his chamber, thinking about everything he had experienced. The alien ship, the missions, the lessons, the respect he had begun to earn. It was overwhelming. Yet he also felt something new. Confidence. He realized that being human did not mean being weak. It meant being resourceful, adaptable, and capable of surprising even the most advanced beings. His mistakes, his instincts, and his courage could be strengths. Outside, the stars stretched endlessly. Inside, the alien ship pulsed with life, energy, and intelligence. And in the middle of it all was a human man, small, seemingly ordinary, yet beginning to shine in ways the aliens had never expected. Ethan smiled to himself. He was far from Earth, far from home, and surrounded by beings more advanced than he could comprehend. But he also knew one thing. Humans had a power the universe often overlooked. And that power was just beginning to show.